So, I want a gaming keyboard. When I got this message in my inbox, I immediately thought it was spam mail, but when I read the email carefully, I realized it wasn't a scam and was actually from Redragon, which blew my mind. Apparently, I had won a keyboard for submitting a photo of my desk setup. If you're curious, this was the picture I sent. And yes, that is the Redragon keyboard and mouse set that I reviewed in my last video. I'm actually surprised, cause I always thought my desk setup was too budget to be considered a good setup. Like, the total cost of everything in this picture, desk and monitor and everything except for the laptop was around $288. Anyways, after I saw that email, I immediately replied, yes, here's my address. And they responded saying that they'll send it to me, along with a kissing emoji. And while I did receive this keyboard for free, I'm not sponsored and will be providing my honest thoughts on this product because that's the whole point of reviews. The timing of all this is too funny because when I was making my last video, I was thinking, when's the next time I'm gonna review a keyboard or a mouse? Because I'm probably not going to get new ones in the next few years when the ones I have work perfectly fine. And I was still editing that video when this happened, and I immediately realized, guess I'm making another review. So, without further ado, let's move on to the unboxing and review. So the package has arrived, and once again, it arrived pretty quickly. I still don't have a proper microphone, so I'm gonna be recording with my phone. If the audio sucks, you bet I'm switching over to voiceover. Anyways. I decided to switch over to voiceover because it just sounds a lot better, and I'll probably stick to voiceovers in the future since I don't have a proper mic. So on the cover of the box, there's a picture of the keyboard and a sticker of the switches it comes with. Before they sent over this keyboard, they actually asked me what kind of switches I wanted with this keyboard. And so I asked them for brown switches. On the side of the box, it lists the package contents. That includes the keyboard, user manual, and Type-C cable. On the back of the box is too much to read, but it basically just shows all the features that this keyboard has. The keyboard comes with some accessories, stickers, a cable, extra switches in case you need to replace one of them, and a keycap and switch puller. The keys make a pretty clicky sound. On the back, the keyboard has two fold-down feet and a spot to store the dongle. The side of the keyboard has two switches, one for turning the keyboard on and off, and the other for switching between the devices that the keyboard is connected to. So just based on first impressions, the K530 Pro keyboard looks very clean and the keys are pretty satisfying to press. Now, moving on to the actual review. The K530 Pro comes in at $60 USD and is pretty well known as a budget gaming keyboard. Now, if you're someone who's only ever used crusty old office keyboards, $60 doesn't seem really budget to you. That's what I thought too, before I discovered the world of mechanical keyboards. I'd say a budget keyboard in this price range is a good option if you're just starting to look at mechanical keyboards and you don't want to possibly spend $200 on a keyboard that you end up not liking. This keyboard measures 291.7 by 101.7 by 36 millimeters and weighs 800 grams. It comes in two color options, black and white, and you can choose between red, brown, and blue switches. It's got a 1600 mAh battery, which has yet to run out since I took it out of the box a few months ago. I've been using it for several hours a day, so I'm pretty happy with the battery life. Overall, the keyboard looks pretty sleek. The bezels of the frame are thin, giving it a minimalistic look. It comes with OEM profile keycaps, and on the keycaps is a classic Redragon font that you see on many of their keyboards. The K530 Pro also has two fold-down feet on the back, which is a nice feature if you prefer typing at an angle. While the 60% layout leaves out the number pad, dedicated function keys, and arrow keys, you can still type most of the keys on a full-size keyboard using the function keys. For instance, to type the arrow keys, you have to hold the function key and press WASD. The K530 Pro is wireless and can be used with a 2.4 GHz dongle or Bluetooth, but you can also use it in wired mode by plugging the cable into the charging port and connecting it to your computer. This keyboard can connect with up to 3 devices at a time, and you can toggle between the devices with the switch on the side of the keyboard. The included cable comes with an adapter, which is a nice and convenient addition that lets you connect it to either a C or USB port. The instruction manual comes in English and Spanish, and it shows all the key combinations for different commands. There's a lot of preset RGB effects that you can select by pressing function 2 and 9, and you can also change the color of the effects by pressing function 2 and 8 if you don't like the default rainbow vomit. There is a software that you can download from their website that lets you further customize the RGB and rebind the keys, but it's pretty clunky and only works if you turn the keyboard off and use it in wired mode. The K530 Pro comes with Autemu switches that are fully hot swappable and compatible with most 3-pin and 5-pin switches. Now, some people reported a very particular problem with this keyboard, which is the metallic pinging sound it makes when you type on it. I'm definitely able to hear it when I type as well, usually when I'm working in a quiet environment. It's not super loud, so I don't know if my mic would be able to pick up on it when I do a sound test, but I can see how it would be annoying for some people. Aside from that, I find the typing experience to be quite satisfying. You can definitely feel the tactile bump when pressing down on the keys. That said, this probably wouldn't make a very good office keyboard. While it's compact and pretty portable, it might just be a little bit too loud to use in an office setting. Here's how it sounds. Now, aside from that metallic pinging sound, which can probably be fixed with some modding, I generally enjoyed the typing experience on the K530 Pro. The keys feel responsive and have that satisfying click you'd expect from a mechanical keyboard. I like that they provided extra switches of the same type, because not every keyboard comes with those, and I immediately f***ed up one of the switches by accidentally bending one of the pins when I first took it out for a closer look. One of the reasons I never tried brown switches before was because I heard people say that they felt like broken red switches, as in the tactile bump is so small that they felt like scratchy linear switches. I think the brown switches in this keyboard provide a good balance between giving tactile feedback and allowing quick and responsive inputs similar to linear switches. I also like the keyboard's thin bezels and clean look. I am a little bit worried about the keycaps discoloring, but it feels like the stains can be easily cleaned off the material that the keycaps are made out of. While this isn't a problem with the keyboard and more of just personal preference, I do prefer at least a 75% layout over the keyboard's 60% layout. I use the arrow keys a lot for both work and gaming, and it's not very convenient having to use both hands to press them. Games that rely on arrow keys are pretty difficult to play because I have to hold down the function key while pressing WASD. That isn't to say that this keyboard is bad for gaming though. To be fair, it's dedicated for FPS gamers, and if that's you, then congrats, because you probably don't need the arrow keys as much as I do, and you'll probably benefit from having more room to move your mouse around. Generally, I'm not that picky about keyboards, so if it weren't for the lack of arrow keys, I would probably stick with the K530 Pro in the long run, maybe with some modding. Although there isn't really anything that unique about this keyboard, it's one of the most popular budget mechanical keyboards for a reason. It's wireless, hot swappable, and a good option whether you want to customize it to your liking or just want an entry-level, affordable mechanical keyboard. Anyways, the hunt for the best wireless mechanical keyboard doesn't stop here, so feel free to recommend me some in the comments. And if you're interested in the K530 Pro, I'll have the link to the original seller in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.